Aquilini drops the axe.
I know our fans and the media are frustrated and unhappy, but I assure you that no one is more frustrated and unhappy than me and my family.
Sweeping changes to the Canucks front office. New travel restrictions take effect.
There is a lot more that people have to think about.
Why timing is crucial for those flying to the U.S. and adjustments to the ArriveCAN requirements. And first blast of winter.
Heavy, wet, no power. Our power went out at 8 o'clock.
The hardest hit areas and a new layer of complication for BC's flood zones.
You're watching Global BC. This is Global News at 5.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. Canucks owner Francesco Aquilini addressing many questions today after the Canucks cleaned house over the weekend, making some major leadership changes. New behind the bench, that guy. Bruce Boudreau is in as the new head coach of the Canucks. Boudreau has led his teams to the playoffs in 10 of his 14 seasons as a head coach. He replaces Travis Green, of course. Also let go assistant coach Nolan Baumgartner. Scott Walker will replace him. Walker was drafted by the Canucks in 1993. And the team is saying goodbye to GM Jim Benning and assistant general manager John Weisbrod. It comes after a disappointing start for the Canucks, posting only 8 wins in their first 25 games.
Probably, too patient. Maybe he should have done it sooner. I don't know, but it just came to a point where, a decision had to be made, like something had to be done. And so, we decided to hire Bruce.
Everybody that's texted me, and I got so many texts in the last 2 days, from hockey people say, you got a lot of things to work with here. There's a lot of good things to work with there, and they're saying all the stuff that you would normally say when you're texting a guy, oh, you can do it, you can do this and that. But I mean, the one thing that's consistent is they're saying that there's a lot of good pieces to this team.
I'm excited about the way he wants us to play. Obviously a fast game that is aggressive within our structure, and I think that's going to be good for our group. It's going to be good for our young guys to get skating and all of us to get skating.
Stan Smeal is the new interim general manager and Brian Johnson, the new interim assistant GM. All right, let's bring in Squire Barnes for the post-mortem on all of this. The fans had definitely been calling for it, literally, with their chanting, Squire, but not sure anyone saw quite this much change coming.
We talked about this a few weeks ago. This is a pretty big bomb because you don't often see in any sport, not just hockey, football, baseball, basketball, any team sport, you don't often see the GM and the coach fired in the middle of a season. You may see one or the other, usually it's the coach, but never both. So the Aquilini family frustration had obviously hit the same level that the frustration was at in Canucks Nation. There was a jersey toss the other night. Considering how many things happened after that jersey toss, I'm beginning to wonder if it was actually Aquilini's dad who threw his jersey on the ice, because they acted swiftly Saturday night after that loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins to, as you said, bring in Bruce Boudreau, remove Jim Benning, who actually is the second longest serving GM in Canucks history outside of Pat Quinn. Now, the one thing that was asked of Aquilini today, Francesco Aquilini, was this: does ownership interfere in the processes of the GM?
This question about influence, this has been going on for a number of years, and, I just like to put it to rest. Listen, owners own, managers manage, coaches coach, players play. Okay, so the minute you cross those lines, right, where a coach wants to be a manager, the manager wants to be a coach, or the owner wants to be a manager, there's no alignment anymore.
And media is media. We all have something to do, but he said no, they do not meddle, and he also pointed out later on that they spend money, and that is true. The Aquilinis have never cheaped out when it comes to contracts.
All right, we'll see how the changes, if the changes result in
It starts tonight. Boudreau's
Kenny
behind the
W.
bench, against the Kings. Yeah.
Thanks for that, Squire. We'll talk to you at 6. Well, just a week out from record flooding, residents of Southwest BC woke up to the first major snowfall of the season this morning.
First time for the year?
Oh, first time, man.
The snow started falling at about 2 a.m. and most areas of the south coast received 5 to 10 centimeters by the time it warmed up. although some areas were hit harder. The snow made for slippery conditions on the morning commute, but having had enough warning, cities like Surrey had crews out in force to salt and plow the roads.
A little earlier this year than I would like to see, but as far as dealing with the snow, nothing has changed since last year or the year before. It's kind of business as usual. We always like to remind people when they're driving, give the plows plenty of room to work. Short of that, just take your time getting to where you have to go.
Of course, the snow made for an exciting morning for school kids, while a handful of schools did declare a snow day and cancel classes. Well, the first snowfall this winter also slammed Vancouver Island. Cleanup is underway on many parts of the island to clear roads and power lines of snow. BC Hydro says at the peak of the storm, approximately 9,000 customers lost power. The most snow hit the northern regions of the island, where up to 20 centimeters was reported. Crews say they may not be able to restore power to everyone by tonight.
It's a myriad of factors that can slow the work. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get everybody up tonight. I know crews are working hard to try and do that, probably be working through the night. It all depends on the damage that crews face when they get there and how long that'll take to repair, and the challenge of actually getting to where the outage is. So all those factors will come into play in regards to restoration.
Schools were also closed in affected areas because of the treacherous road conditions and power outages. Now, following BC's devastating floods, the massive cleanup and rebuilding effort is now starting to pick up steam. The city of Abbotsford is extending the local state of emergency, but the evacuation order for the central section of Sumas Prairie has now been lifted. That allows hundreds of families to return home. At the same time, Highway 7 between Mission and Hope is no longer limited to essential traffic because commercial traffic is once again moving along Highway 1. But both the Coquihalla and the Highway 1 through the Fraser Canyon are more than a month away from reopening, which will have an impact on many people's holiday plans.
It would not be very pleasant to, get in your car and drive to a ski hill from the Lower Mainland to the interior. There's a lot of trucks there. It's a very busy corridor. It's slow and winding. It takes approximately twice as long to get from Surrey to Karamias right now. The good news, though, is that it's open and it's moving, and that commercial trucks are able to get goods and supplies to the other parts of British Columbia.
While the Trans Mountain Pipeline is now flowing again, the 30-liter cap on gas purchases is set to remain in place until December 14th, but there is a chance it could be lifted sooner. And it is in times of crisis that British Columbians come out to help. Global BC, 980 CKNW, AM 730, and Global Okanagan are partnering for BC Together in support of BC flood relief. Visit globalnews.ca/BC Together to check out the groups stepping up to help out and donate to an organization of your choice. All right, let's take a look now at our latest COVID-19 numbers, and we have 3 days worth. We have 946 new cases to report, 2,876 active cases, 241 people are in hospital with 89 patients in the ICU. 11 more people have died from complications of the virus, and 88.1% of eligible British Columbians aged 12 and older are now fully vaccinated. Well, some big changes today to the rules governing international travel for Canadians, including one that will actually make life a little easier for people coming into the country by land. The federal government announcing today travelers will be able to give their information to an agent at the border if they cannot use the ArriveCan app. That new policy coming after hundreds of complaints that the app is inaccessible and unreliable. The other big change today, anyone traveling by air to the U.S. must now show a negative COVID-19 test taken within 24 hours of boarding their flight, or documentation proving they have recovered from COVID-19 in the past 90 days. Vancouver International Airport is also reminding us that anyone departing from any Canadian airport must be fully vaccinated.
The best source is always the main source, which is the Transport Canada, Government of Canada website. That website will provide you with all the information to the different restrictions and requirements. YVR.ca also has a lot of information and can provide links to the most important thing when you're coming into Canada and you're coming from an international location. You have to pre-register for your arrival test so that you can get that test here at the airport.
YVR says perhaps the most important thing to take with you when traveling these days is patience. Coming up, stolen goods at the street market. The VPD warning about how some items ended up here and who's doing most of the shopping. Plus, charges laid in the disappearance of a Salmon Arm woman more than 5 years ago.
Slow and steady both ways here at the Patello Bridge, with most of the congestion on the New Westminster side. Pockets of volume southbound down McBride on the approach. Through Kermac Cares for Kids, expert repair for your vehicle helps provide expert care for kids. When you choose Kermac, you choose to support BC Children's Hospital. Kermac Cares for Kids. I'm Trish Jewison in the Global Traffic Center.
He was taken in the middle of the night by white men. His name is Emmett Till. Whatever happens to any of us had better be the business of all of us.
I won't give up.
Whoever killed him wanted an international incident.
FBI International, mid-season finale Tuesday at 9 Eastern on Global.
Some like you to think they still build the best trucks. But according to just about anybody who's handing out awards, Ram currently builds the best trucks. So if you're shopping for a truck today, here it is. If you're shopping in the past, well, good luck with that. Ram, the #1 brand in new vehicle quality in the automotive industry. Get 3.49% financing for 96 months on our expanding inventory. Visit your Ram dealer today.
Get Boxing Day prices now on Gifts They'll Love. Save $70 on this Lighthawk Crusher RC monster truck at Best Buy.
The next Lotto 649 jackpot is an estimated $5 million. What does the excitement of playing feel like? Get that 649 feeling. The next Lotto 649 jackpot is an estimated $5 million, plus the guaranteed $1 million prize.
Justice is coming. It will be swift.
Coquitlam RCMP are asking for witnesses or video that might help solve a disturbing shooting. It happened at about 4:40 on Saturday afternoon on Chickadee Place in Coquitlam. One man was shot, suffering non-life-threatening injuries. His 9-year-old son was in the vehicle at the time, but luckily wasn't hurt. About 15 minutes later, police responded to a burning car in Port Moody. Police say while the shooting was targeted, it's too soon to say whether it was tied to the ongoing gang conflict.
Anyone who may have been in the area between these two locations is a potential witness. Residents of areas surrounding these two locations are being urged to mine their memories and review their video surveillance for suspicious vehicles or persons that are new to the area or did not seem to belong there on December 4th or on the days prior.
Police say the shooting victim was not previously known to them and he is cooperating with the investigation. Well, the boyfriend of a missing Salmon Arm woman who vanished more than 5 years ago has now been charged with second-degree murder. 39-year-old Derek Lee Matthew Favell has been charged in the death of 27-year-old Ashley Simpson. She went missing back on April 30th of 2016. RCMP say they located Simpson's remains last month in a forested area outside of Salmon Arm. Favell and Simpson lived together in a trailer in the Yankee Flats area near Silver Creek. Simpson's family did not attend today's RCMP press conference, but released a statement on behalf of their daughter.
This is the best Christmas gift we ever could have asked for. Relief. Something we wished for almost 6 years. Thank you. Christmas came early. We are extremely grateful for all the hard work done on Ashley's case. It is nice to finally have the closure we have longed for.
Favell will make a court appearance on Thursday. A shocking turn in the historical homicide case of two Vancouver Island teenagers who were murdered in Washington state in the 1980s. The conviction of William Talbot has been overturned because of a juror's bias. More than 30 years after the killings, Talbot was found guilty on 2 counts of aggravated murder, the first person to be convicted in the U.S. using DNA evidence from a genealogy website. Jay Cook and Tanya Van Cuylenborg were killed in 1987 while on a trip to Seattle. Cook was beaten and strangled while Van Cuylenborg was shot. An appeals court ruled one of the trial jurors showed bias during jury selection when she discussed how she herself had experienced violence. Vancouver police are issuing a plea to residents of Metro Vancouver. Be careful about what you buy at the downtown East Side street market.
We're looking at lots of batteries still in the packages here, food goods that are on the banned list, pretty much food all over this entire table, and personal goods like Advil, Tylenol still in the boxes.
The VPD took our Kamal Karmali on a tour of the market today, saying it has changed over the years from a grassroots gathering of marginalized people selling secondhand items to a market that also sells high-end stolen goods. They say many of the downtown East Side residents are recruited by organized theft rings and that some of their main customers are suburbanites who travel to the downtown East Side to get a deal.
It's really become a focal point that facilitates the kind of organized property criminals that can come to this area and make pretty good money by manipulating and using the marginalized people of the downtown East Side to do these break-and-enters and the shoplifting for them.
Vancouver police today announcing they have arrested more than 200 people in a month-long anti-shoplifting campaign in the downtown core and have recovered more than $75,000 in stolen property. Still to come, a new report is released into a devastating wildfire back in 2017. What it reveals about how the fire might have been better managed. And later, the road to social media stardom, the female trucker taking her journey to TikTok.
To Baking It. One team will win the $50,000 prize.
I'm not going to go so far as to say we were born for this.
I mean, some of us were.
Baking It, 2-hour series premiere Wednesday at 8 on Food Network.
I've dreamed of so many nights since it's aired, like this is made for me.
Dan, tell me about the decision to use grass-fed beef in your restaurant.
We want to offer, first off, something that is delicious. We want people to indulge and have a great time here, but we also want it to be a smart choice, too.
Cheers on that.
Cheers.
Next Lotto 649 jackpot is an estimated $5 million. What does the excitement of playing feel like? Get that 649 feeling. The next Lotto 649 jackpot is an estimated $5 million, plus the guaranteed $1 million prize.
Christmas memories this year with a wide selection of gifts, custom printed items from our photo lab, and everything else you need for the holiday season. Visit your local London Drugs today or shop online at londondrugs.com.
ABC, here are some more Budget Auto Center highlights. Starting in White Rock, Adam's diagnosing a check engine light. In Surrey Fleetwood, Mike reviews a repair job with his tech. And in Surrey Newton, Julia serves another satisfied customer.
Budget Auto Center.
The pandemic is exhausting for all of us. The upheaval it's caused in our lives has been overwhelming.
But no one has experienced this more than those working on the front lines of healthcare.
With your donations, VGH and UBC Hospital Foundation continues to be there for our healthcare heroes. They show up every day to care for the health and well-being of our community. of your friends and family, and of you.
Your support is vital.
Donate today at vghfoundation.ca.
Closed captioning of this program is brought to you in part by Envision Financial. Treat yourself, not your bank. Save up to $200 annually with the Simply Free account at Envision Financial.
A new report on a devastating wildfire in 2017 says First Nations should be much more involved in both fighting fires and the recovery efforts afterward. The report by a UBC researcher looks at the Elephant Hill Fire, which burned more than 190,000 hectares and destroyed more than 100 homes in the Ashcroft area. It was determined to have been started by smoking or smoking materials. The report says the fire could have been much better managed had firefighters included the local First Nations, who had more extensive knowledge of their territories.
Basically just did not listen to the local ranchers or the local First Nations communities and said that they were the professionals and they knew what they were doing. And then the next thing we know, that fire blew up and destroyed Loon Lake area, Pressy Lake, homes after homes after homes. And that did not have to happen had they listened to local First Nations.
BC Wildfire says while they are involving more Indigenous people in the fight, they are also cautious because they're now seeing new behaviors from wildfires that even seasoned, trained firefighters have never seen before. A rare total solar eclipse in Antarctica and the unique opportunity it's providing for researchers. That's right after Christy's forecast. All right, let's bring in senior meteorologist Christy Gordon now. If it's not one thing, it's another, it seems, this season so far, Christy.
Yes, that's for sure. I know it wasn't exciting for drivers out there, but I tell you, it just lit up the kids' faces to be able to see that snowfall when they woke up this morning. So it is pretty nice to have some white stuff across the region. And if you're wondering what is in store for us this winter, I will have our long-range forecast, our winter outlook coming up on the NewsHour. In the meantime, let's look at the warnings. These are in place for the North Coast inland sections, up to 25 centimeters expected. This is for quite a long time span, though, tonight right through Wednesday. But we also have a risk of freezing rain, and that's the key thing that I want to mention through the day tomorrow. All of these areas, that risk of freezing rain. So definitely watch for icy conditions. So this evening, we still have a little bit of shower activity across our region, but the bulk of the moisture and snowfall will be in through the North Coast tomorrow morning, and that will continue throughout much of the day. Now, the front will slowly make its way down south. We are expecting periods of rain into our Wednesday, but for the most part, we will continue to see that snowfall even for inland sections of the North Coast, and that's the reason why that snowfall warning is in effect. A few flurries still expected across the inland regions for our Tuesday across the interior. We are expecting a few showers here tomorrow, but quite light. It's Wednesday, though, that I am expecting a break in the weather pattern, a mix of sun and cloud Thursday as well. It's more so towards the end of the week, Sophie, that we're concerned about. There is a chance that we could see snow, still a ways away. Low confidence right now. Definitely stormy, though, Friday and into Saturday at this point.
All right, we'll keep that in mind. Thank you, Christy. Western Antarctica was plunged into momentary darkness over the weekend during a solar eclipse. The Earth's southernmost continent experiences continual daylight from mid-October until early April. But the eclipse brought a few minutes of total darkness. A solar eclipse occurs when the moon moves between the sun and the Earth, casting a shadow fully or partially blocking the sun's light. Total solar eclipses provide researchers with an opportunity to understand how switching the sun on and off affects space weather. Just ahead, the TikTok trucker.
That provides you with different places that's hiring, job searches, and ways you can save money on fuel.
The social media star in the driver's seat in a male-dominated industry.
2 lanes north and 1 south over at the Lions Gate Bridge. It's been steady both ways all afternoon with just some light volume at the Cloverleaf from North and West Vancouver. Sussex Insurance are your community auto plan experts. For questions about recent ICBC changes or to find a location near you, visit sussexinsurance.com today. I'm Trish Jewison in the Global Traffic Center.
If you need work done around the house, it can be hard to find a reliable contractor around here. They're juggling jobs, they won't call you back. Well, if you need windows or doors, Renewal by Andersen's reliability is one of the many reasons thousands of local customers have trusted us. As the replacement window division of Andersen, we've removed the typical contractor from the equation. Our certified master installers are respectful of your home, and they clean, I mean really clean, when they're done. Now, some homeowners have this notion that vinyl windows are a good choice, but you may not realize that vinyl is just plastic. And these days, plastic often gets thrown away. Either way, plastic vinyl windows don't seem like the best option to protect you from the elements. Our composite Fibrex material is 2 times stronger than vinyl. Okay, so you want a price. Other companies might give you a wild guess at a price over the phone. We just don't think that's ethical. We'll visit your home, see exactly what you have, and then give you an exact price quote. And we'll honor that price for a whole year, so there's no pressure.
We had been through the let's go the cheapest route we can and try the big box store, and it ended up badly for us. We didn't want a repeat of that. We wanted somebody that we could trust, somebody with a quality product so they would last.
Now, through December 31st, save 20% on windows and save 20% on patio doors. Plus, save an extra $50 on every window and patio door you buy. And with our SmartPay program, don't pay any interest for 1 year. This special offer from Renewal by Andersen ends December 31st. Call to make a free appointment today or scan the code to schedule your appointment by text 778-770-0909. That's 778-770-0909.
I'm NCIS Hawaii's first female SAC. When anyone on my team is in trouble, I'm the first call.
Support Covenant House Vancouver and triple your impact. Throughout the pandemic, they've continued to provide essential services to youth in overcoming homelessness. Every dollar you donate will make triple the impact to help youth in need during these difficult times. Load up your family and head to Peony Winter Lights. Grab a hot cocoa, crank up the carols, and enjoy the safe drive-through holiday experience from the warmth of your car. You'll be transported through 9 enchanting lanes filled with glowing lights, special characters, and festive performers along the way.
If you wanna know, it's on the hub. If you wanna show, it's on the hub. If you wanna go, it's on
the Global BC Community Hub. Navigate your now.
Well, trucking has been dominated by men for the past century. Now it's seeing more women getting behind the wheel, including a social media star who's helping to change the face of the industry.
What's up, everybody?
She is outgoing,
Life is what you make out of it.
outspoken,
If your spouse ever got on your nerves so bad you wonder why they still there,
and out on the roads, sharing what she knows about trucking.
I provide you with different places that's hiring, job searches, and ways you can save money on fuel.
Clarissa Rankin of Charlotte, North Carolina, is a wife and mother of 2 who is sharing all aspects of life as one of the relatively few women truck drivers.
Why did I become a truck driver?
Amassing more than 1.5 million followers on TikTok, she's one of the most popular truckers on the platform. It is a journey, Rankin says, stemming from necessity.
I went to school for my bachelor's in criminal justice, and I was over $50,000 in debt, and I couldn't find a job in my career.
How has trucking transformed your income?
My first year, I came out making $50,000. Now I'm well over $150,000, and that's just one truck, and that's not counting none of my social media.
Which, with endorsements, can help her earn up to $12,000 additional dollars a month. Rankin was inspired by her husband Joey, who obtained his commercial driver's license 8 years ago and quickly found work. But when she got her CDL, some employers were blunt.
He said, I would never hire you as my truck driver. He said, I will hire you as my assistant, though. I had 6 interviews, and they all turned me down. A woman actually was the one that gave me my first CDL job, and she believed in me.
That belief now central to Rankin's online messaging, encouraging everyone, especially women, to consider this as a career.
Right now, women only make up 9% of the trucking industry. I want to make it and bring it up to at least 40%.
Michelle Locke obtained her trucker's license after being inspired by Rankin.
I do recall on one of her first videos, she was counting money. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, if she can do it, I can do it.
Returning home at the end of the day is Rankin's top priority.
We sit at the dinner table together. We are a family. Y'all know why I do this.
One woman making major moves on the road with her family and followers along for the ride. Errol Barnett, CBS News, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Up next, Merck's new manufacturing deal and the role antivirals could play in the fight against COVID-19. Plus, receding floodwaters and rising frustration, the extensive damage in Merritt, and how the cold is making things worse. Global National starts now.